People seem to be fascinated with Google and Googlers' experience, so I decided to share my biggest learnings from working at Google. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this water drinking thing for much longer. It's kind of getting weird. Anyway, let's get to the point. Yes, I worked at Google for 2 years. I'm just like, it's automatic, pulling fingers, pulling numbers up. But I've worked at Google for 2 years I started in 2015. And no, it was not a technical role. I was working with YouTubers, and actually that's how I started this YouTube channel. It's a whole another topic that I might record a video on. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you're interested in. But yeah, I wanted to share my biggest learnings because I gotta say it was a very monumental experience in my life that has definitely propelled me upwards in terms of a lot of different skills and opportunities in life. I'm not going to lie. So let's just get to those learnings right now. So learning number 1 was people is everything, and learning how to work with them too. That's probably the biggest thing that I miss about working at Google. Yes, that and not the free avocados, although the free avocados were pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. But the people were amazing. I've made so many friends throughout my time there, and in general, the people that I have interacted with were genuine people that were hungry for knowledge, hungry for growth, curious about the world, and that cared about the world. It was people that made that environment fun and as exciting as it was. But one of the most impactful lessons on my perception of my friends and colleagues and how to work with them was a set of personality exercises that my manager did with our team when I first joined the company. Anya, if you're watching this, thank you. That was awesome. One that I remember in particular was called the True Colors exercise, where depending on your personality score, you would be assigned 2 different colors. And my manager suggested that we would write our colors on sticky notes and put them on our desks so that when somebody comes over to talk to you, they remember how to approach you best. How to approach working with you, and how to be the most effective about communication with you. For example, if someone is data and numbers driven, make sure that you sprinkle those in your communication when you're pitching them something. That made working with different people and navigating different personalities just so much easier for me. This is why I'm super excited to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Cloverleaf, as they help you understand yourself and your teammates better, creating the same effect that I had with my team at Google. Here's how it works. Once you sign up, you will be prompted to choose from a variety of personality tests that help you build self-awareness. And if you're part of a team, you will see where everyone is in terms of their results, making it easier for you to understand them and work with them. Cloverleaf Insights will provide you with ongoing coaching tips via email based on your personality test. There are also a bunch of integrations with G Suite, Microsoft Teams, Slack, and so on to help you improve your communication and collaboration strategies with different team members. It's great for individuals, teams, or coaches. Find out more about Cloverleaf and create your free account for up to 5 people using the link in my description. Having the right people around you is so important. It will either make it or break it in terms of your experience as an employee or as an entrepreneur as well. But also learning how to work together is so important. And I still to this day remember that, and I will definitely do that with my team when the team grows. Learning number 2 was all about networking and collaboration. And of course, when you have good people, it promotes collaboration because people like each other, like spending time with each other, are more creative together, ideate together, and, just enjoy all of those things. And one of the things that I really remember from Google was not the hours that I would put in, actually doing my work, what I was supposed to be doing, my job, what I was being paid for, but the coffee chats that I had with all of my colleagues. And we would set up random coffee chats within the team. Well, it wasn't random. You had to go to a person and actually ask them or email them about it. Within the team, within, so many different, across different departments, across different continents. I mean, we worked remotely back then as well. So I was in the EMEA side of things, but I also worked with my colleagues in Asia Pacific and the Americas. So we would also go on these virtual coffees back then too. And networking was just so important, and it promoted collaboration for sure. One more thing that I remember that I specifically did to network was I signed up for this program that was called, I think it was called Lunch Ninjas, where you basically get matched with some other person within your building, within your office building, because you had different departments. Like we had 11 floors in the last building that I worked in, and they were mostly all Googlers. But yeah, there's so many different departments in your building, and you're basically matched with another person, random person who signed up for this program to go for lunch. It looks at your calendar, it looks at whether you're free, and basically sets up a lunch with a random person. I've been to a couple of lunches through that. But it taught me how important networking was, because whenever I was thinking about a project or something else, I knew so many people that I could either connect or that could help me, etc. It was just such an important learning, and I honestly need to do that more now that I'm working as I am. I guess it's harder when you're the only employee of your company, but externally. So yeah, networking is extremely important, and approaching networking as something more casual as opposed to networking. Once you start approaching networking as something fun, as something casual, as making friends and getting to know another person, it's just so much fun, and it flows so much easier, and it creates bonds that are way stronger than if you were if you were approaching it from a very formal standpoint perspective. The third learning that I had was the secret to sales. It was actually during my onboarding. I went to San Francisco, to San Bruno, where the YouTube office is, the headquarters. I went there for it was like a week training or something like that. And one of the parts of the program was all about sales. When I saw that on the schedule, I was like, why are we having a workshop on sales? Sales is salesy, cheesy, sleazy. That was my perception of it at the time. But what I learned from that workshop, and that really stuck with me throughout the rest of my experience on this planet, was that sales is all about listening to whoever your potential client is, and seeing whether your solution actually solves their problem. And if it's not a good fit, being very transparent about it and being like, no. But listening is key, and asking questions is key, and understanding what is their goal is really key to sales. And that has really impacted my life and how I work with people. My business is growing because of that skill. So it's very important to learn those sales skills. I think everybody should learn how to sell, despite whatever you're doing. Maybe you're a super technical person, but still it's very important to have this skill, because it's essentially problem solving for someone else and seeing whether your solution fits. I'm repeating myself. Learning number 4 was how to market myself. You see, there's a lot of talented people at Google, and it was very hard to stand out. Everybody is ambitious, everybody is smart, everybody is doing amazing things, and being shy, I quickly realized that being shy was not an option. That's not how you stand out. You have to really push yourself in order to be visible, in order to get recognition from people who are, up the ladder, essentially. But yeah, you have to be, I don't want to say pushy, but you have to know what value you're bringing to the table and how to demonstrate it to others. Learning number 5 was how to answer difficult questions. And essentially how not to overpromise something when a difficult question is being asked, because a lot of the times those difficult questions are being asked about like hoping that you would promise something. But yeah, I did a lot of public speaking. I organized so many different events. I don't remember right now how many events I organized, and I was always the representative of the brand. And so, of course, all of the questions were coming at me. So I don't think there was a formal training on how to answer questions, but there was some type of training that I extracted this from, where you want to use words like may or might in order not to promise anything in terms of timelines or something like that, because things change. You can't promise these things. Like, we all understand that. Like, it's just normal. But if you do, like, if it seems like you promise something to people, they will really complain about you not sticking to that promise. So, like, don't promise things to people. But also, when you don't know when you don't know an answer to a question, just be honest about it. Be transparent about the fact that you don't know the answer, and maybe that you will refer back to a specialist who knows the answer and follow up with that person when you do know the answer. Basically, being transparent and rehearsing your answers when you don't know an answer to a question has been a very big learning. And actually, something that I learned before Google from my dad, who is in PR, is you always want to think about the hardest questions that you're going to be asked and rehearse your answers to them. Think through your answers to them before you're asked them, so that you have an answer ready when that question comes up, because you want to be prepared. Essentially, you want to know how you're going to respond. You want to essentially rehearse your reaction, because this is crisis management to an extent, to a very, very small extent, but still, like, I'm sure you understand what I mean. And finally, my final learning from my time at Google was the importance of mental health. I'm not going to lie, sometimes it was tough. I mean, there's a lot of expectations. You're working with extremely smart and talented people and ambitious people. So you are in this cycle of trying to prove yourself over and over again. And it was tough on my mental health sometimes, not going to lie. And that is when I started learning about mental health and learn how to meditate. There was actually a workshop. I think it was called Search Within Yourself, Search Inside Yourself. There's also a book that has been created. This training has been created, from what I understand, inside of Google. And then the creator of that training, of this insider training, wrote a book on it. So if you're curious, I'm sure you can find it. But it was, I think, a 3-day training. I literally I didn't work, I obviously had to, meet all of my expectations and exceed all of my expectations, do everything that I needed to do to, like, free up those 3 days. It doesn't just work like that. You don't just skip work. But once I freed up those 3 days, I went on this 3-day intensive training on meditation and mindfulness, and it was life-changing. I'm not going to lie, it was so eye-opening on the world of mindfulness and meditating. It was the first time I meditated. Honestly, I'm not kidding. And it was insane. And it introduced me to all these apps and things, and the importance of mindful eating, mindful cooking, and the importance of just, being aware of what is happening with your mind and body, and, like, all of that stuff. But yeah, also focusing on your mental health may take different shapes and forms. We had a kitchen on the 11th floor, I believe, of the building. And I was incredibly lucky to have taken a ton of cooking classes with Chef Dan. You can actually watch my last day at Google video. It's kind of like a vlog where on my last day, I did a cooking class on, I hosted a cooking class with Chef Dan's help on how to make carrot cake, because that used to be my specialty. So yeah, it's all about finding activities that distract you from, whatever is putting you into this, like, downward spiral of stress, and really distracting and disconnecting, essentially. So yeah, these were my biggest learnings from my time at Google. I hope you've learned something new. Let me know in the comments if you have. And I'll link some of the vlogs that I made from my time at Google in the description, and in one of those corners, I'm dyslexic, so you will see the notification where it pops up. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you've enjoyed it. Share it with a friend who you think may benefit from my learnings. And of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already. We can also be friends on other social media. You can find me as Coding Blonde. Have a wonderful time the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.